Welcome to the Bitcoin Design Guide jam session number 59 here. We might have another one this December, I think, if people are still up to on December 18. But we're getting close here. So welcome, thanks for joining. And as usual, I put together the short agenda with a few points that we can add on to now. I shared it in the chat. You have edit rights. Feel free to add anything. What I put in was just two small things: that the WalletScrutiny case study is now live. The multi-wallet reference design is also live. Posted about those on the socials Friday and yesterday as well. Then Michael wanted to talk about the scope of the custom spending condition reference design. And then Uti wanted to talk about the contribute page. And I think for the custom spending condition thing, is it a pull request or an issue? Pull request. Okay, we have a pull request.
It's a pull request, yeah.
Cool. So I'm just going to add that link in here. I mean, something kind of ongoing, if you want to talk about it, would be still roadmap for 2024. If anyone has any other ideas, stuff to chat. But otherwise, do you have anything else? Cool. Then let's do it. So Mo, WalletScrutiny, live. Congratulations.
Yay.
Awesome.
So many commits. I actually looked at it. It was 85 commits until I could get it there. But it's there. It's live. Yay. Done.
Yeah.
Super happy.
It is our third case study in the design guide and the second one authored by you. So
thank you very much. It's been great.
In
the application, you can just run it anyway, and there it runs.
Uti, are you listening to something in the background? Maybe? No? Good. Okay, cool. Whatever's running there in the background. Okay, cool. I was actually thinking about also at some point doing a Bitcoin Core app case study. I think that'd be a good one to add.
100%. 100%.
Also ties in with the UI kit.
I mean, I'm kicking off there's two documents that kind of tie in together. I'm going to be starting off the research bit for Bitcoin Core.app. And that's describing the research process, which is very much literally the case study. So those two tasks mean to each other very nicely, because once I describe what we've done with Bitcoin Core for the app website, then that can flesh out and become the case study. So
yeah, it'd be interesting if on that case study you also get input from Hebasto and Harold, who kind of kicked this whole thing off and from the technical side and everything. But yeah, next year, not this year. Then the second thing was the multi-wallet reference design. Why don't we just pull these up real quick? So here's the WalletScrutiny one. And that's still ongoing if anyone wants to keep helping. Uti has already also given some feedback and input on the design as well, which are being discussed in the WalletScrutiny Discord. So thank you for doing that. And then here's the multiple wallet thing. And I just posted on the socials about that a little bit earlier. I was also wondering, because we have these 2 hours of recordings, if it's helpful to create a short 3-minute video about this page and share it that way. Because, I mean, I don't know, are people really going to read this? The people for whom it is relevant will read it. That is a given, right? But getting people into it is a shorter video format might be a good entry point. So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's always interesting if you don't have to, if you get the gist of it without reading. Yeah, and the ones who will be really interested, they go into the details.
I was going to say it's probably true for many of our pages that. But yeah, I mean, if you have time to do a 3-minute summary of a really complex topic,
really
it sounds hard. Then will take you a long time to condense.
Nah, just a YOLO recording. Do it, stop it at 3 minutes, and just deal with it. And whoever, even if it stops in the middle, someone who watched the 3 minutes, they'll be interested in going to the page and reading the rest. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's an idea for everything. You just like pretend to start a deep dive recording and then cut it off 45 seconds, and then it links to the page.
Exactly.
That's the way to go, Daniel. That's the way.
Bait and switch. Okay, and then I'm merging all of these things here into the UI kit. I'm gonna and then I'll need to update that one as well. And that's that. Then we have custom spending conditions reference design. So Michael, what would you like to chat about there?
About how big this page should be, or what should go, what else should kind of, what we would want to take out and put it on its own page. I mean, the bottom part of the of this page is more about kind of wallet recovery in the context of one of these kind of miniscript wallets, and as well as migration from one wallet to the next. And I'm kind of starting to lean towards kind of taking this out of this page, these topics, yeah, just maybe merged or move them to the upgradable wallet or to, yeah. So that's kind of the question, where to draw the line, what should remain on this page, which in my mind would probably be everything that's really related to managing these key sets. But upgrading wallets or kind of replacing signing devices, that is not really unique to this type of multi-sig wallet or multi-key wallet. I mean, it's relevant for all multi-key wallets.
Yeah.
So I was wondering whether or not to kind of extract that, make this page really only about these managing of the key sets, and everything else can go to the maybe savings wallet, upgradable wallet, or wherever we decide we want to put it.
Mm-hmm. I cannot give you an answer because I'm not into the content deep enough. I don't know how the others are. Maybe we need to start from the top a little bit on this.
I feel exactly the same. And I was almost going to suggest, I know, Michael, we'll go through it now, obviously, on the call, but we had the review session with Christoph as well. And that was super helpful, I think, in terms of, but maybe that's as the next step, whatever you feel like would be better for you.
Yeah.
Or we can separately review it too. I mean, we can do a reading session. We can also do individual reading, or we can just read it now. Either way is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very long. I think it's longer than the multi-wallet page, and I'd probably schedule a separate session for this reading, for these reading sessions, maybe for the end of the week. But I feel it's in kind of in a space where we probably can start reading it, so I can set something up.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Flexible multi-key wallet with recovery key sets is a mouthful.
No, it's shorter than than. I can make a video about it.
Yeah.
No, of course it's not.
Yeah. But then I'm reading the intro. We designed a wallet app and ask users to create additional key sets that help them recover their funds more easily if they lose some of their keys. So it could be called recovery paths or something.
Yeah.
I'm just skimming through the page now. Is this this is not like a reference design, right? But it is a technical description type.
Sorry,
you're cutting out a bit.
Again.
Get rid of those AirPods.
Yeah. Which if you. Can you hear me now?
It sounds good. You'll have to
Sounds
keep.
better.
Okay, I was asking if this is a reference design page or if it's more of a kind of semi-technical description of a wallet type.
That's a good question. The idea was to have it as a reference design page that is based on the same use case that we have on the How It Works page that we released a couple of weeks ago. So I'm taking the exact same use case from there and kind of providing the designs for it. But it's quite a lot of it's a lot of content and a lot of kind of flows in there.
So okay, so it is a reference design. That's cool. But yeah, then I would also try and maybe simplify the title a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not yet in not even yet. It's still a draft PR.
Yep.
So, but I just kind of wanted to get feel the temperature about where to cut the scope, right? Because this could get very, very large.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning more towards kind of separating out the concerns of kind of wallet recovery and migration, and put it somewhere else.
Yeah, again, apologies for not being too deep into this. I will definitely read it more in depth, but just sharing things that come to mind. So what really separates it from the savings wallet is using these spending conditions, right?
Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering if you can simplify it so much that you are describing these spending conditions individually and then almost saying from the savings wallet page that like, well, the savings wallet could have these spending conditions and here are some possible ones. Mm-hmm. Right, so that you don't need to talk about the whole wallet here. You can just say, well, wallets can use spending conditions and here are some. Or am I misunderstanding that? Does it need to be sort of set up from the very beginning to accept them?
Yeah, I mean, it impacts wallet creation, but I mean, all these conditions have to be set up upon wallet creation. So to your point, it could also be a sub page of the savings wallet, for instance, where it says, okay, we have on the savings wallet page, on the normal one, we just have a regular multi-key, and here is something kind of more advanced than this multi-key where you have recovery key sets, and that could be.
Or this page, you could call this page wallets with spending conditions, or I mean, or something slightly better than that. But like, because it is a wallet with certain conditions. So yeah, the flexible part and the multi-key part are separate from the spending condition. Or can you have a single key wallet with spending conditions?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can also have this mini script things that can be basically anything. So you can also say, I have a 2 of 3 that gets to a 1 of 3 after 6 months, but somewhere I have a hidden 4th key that is always active, which is my kind of emergency switch. Yeah. So you can go pretty crazy with these kind of setups.
So it's not just, I mean, maybe everything comes down to being able to spend, but just calling it spending conditions might undersell it a little bit, right? It feels like it's more powerful than that, almost like it's sort of, whether it's miniscript wallets or scriptable wallets or scriptable conditions. I don't know, but it seems like it feels like it's a layer on top of all the complexity with regular wallets, whether they are single key or multi-key.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of overlap if you have to describe everything again. So yeah, my instinct, without having read everything, is like simplify your life by just describing what's unique about the scripting part.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go ahead.
I was also like Christoph. I'm still getting my brain around this subject. I haven't reviewed your page, but it's pretty long. That's my first impression. But sort of halfway down the page here, leaning in also to what Daniel said, it said you start with spending from the wallet. So if we think spending, then you go into the savings wallet spending possibly, and could that somehow be connected, that entire section about spending from the wallet? Or if you remove that section, does it take away too much of context? So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, about spending, there's just, I think, a paragraph or maybe two, and it links to the savings wallet. So there are no designs related to spending here. But still, it's longer.
What are the sort of key takeaways you would want a reader to have after reading the whole page? What are the sort of the key bits of knowledge?
I think the one of the main thing is that you should be sure that you need this kind of additional complexity. I mean, it can really help you with recoverability of your funds, but it also makes the setup more kind of, let's say, complex. You have to manage more things. You have to think about expiring time locks, however we call them, and the applications would need to, or the products would need to help users with that. So it's really a question whether it actually is an added benefit to a normal multi-sig wallet or not.
Yeah, I was wondering if the page really captures the sort of the benefits that would make you want to go through the hassle, right? Like if at the very top, we describe what is really good about some of these things. I'm seeing the use case, but yeah, I'm not sure if I get quite sort of when should I really be using these things.
Yeah, I think that's the point about just really hammering on the use case, which is softening security or whatever you want to call that. That after, if you don't use it for a year, instead of 2 out of 3, you just need 1 key, which you just call like I don't know, emergency or like fallback or optional recovery. And it could be just a checkbox, right? User could just see, well, if you want to like have an extra thing in case you forget a key, like click this checkbox and we're going to enable that for you, and then that's all you see on a user experience. It makes it so much simpler. The other one could be some other inheritance thing or so, and then starting specifically with those and then driving everything from there, which if you do that, then you might not end up with screens like this where you have to write down derivation paths and show formats and all this type of stuff, because you can just streamline specifically for those individual use cases, and then keep the technical stuff more on the how it works or so on like the further down in maybe wallet details settings or so.
Yeah, I mean, here, whether to show specifically on these kind of formats or derivation paths, whether to show it here at all, I'm not clear. I don't think it's necessary. What is necessary is is the policy, like the 2 of 3, that you know it's a 2 of 3, but the rest is probably just in the kind of backup file on the descriptor that you download. Yeah, but I like the point of actually having a very simple use case, like you mentioned. You set up a 2 of 3, and you can only use any of these 3 keys to recover it after 6 months. Then you can do this checkbox thingy. But if you wanted to use a different key than these 3, then you have to pair it and register it, and that would be already the kind of the more complex use case. So it could also be kind of two different things.
Yeah.
So if you narrowed it, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's the exact same conversation I had at the beginning of the multi-wallet page, where the question was, do we even need this at all? Why would anyone have like multiple wallets? Why can't you just have one? And then I had to come up with like, okay, let's imagine a scenario where someone is this and they have this and they have the family and they have a child, and then kind of things started flowing from there.
Yeah, I mean this use case that I have here is already a pretty kind of advanced one, and having one on the lower intensity scale as well might be a good thing.
Yeah, in that case, it could really be that simple checkbox one could be a subpage of the savings wallet, and that could be the entry point. And then you could say, well, this is what you can do. What you can also do is this more complex one, and then maybe a third one that's the hyper complex one. But maybe that's also just different use cases, like you said, inheritance, or there must be one in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to derail a process if you feel like you're on the right track. But I'm just throwing out some other ideas here. Like you could start in a different end with like creating a how it works page about Miniscript and what it can do, right? A high level short page like, oh, I've never heard about scriptable wallet or Miniscript. Here's a page about it, and here's what it is. Here's a few examples of what you can do with it. You can set certain spending conditions, whether it's by amount or sender or receiver or whatever. Like outline a few concrete examples, and that's that page, right? It's just introducing the technology, what's possible, and then you have obviously options still to like, well, okay, here is a deep dive on one of those examples, whether it's the one you've already got, right? Like here's how we set up an advanced sort of recovery flow for a multi-sig wallet. But yeah, you're right, that's already kind of far down the line. But yeah, those are just some thoughts, because I was reading the page and like in the top part of it, I don't see scripts really mentioned. I mean, it's sort of the technique that underlies it, and I understand if you want to keep it out of the picture, but it feels to me like maybe it's worth mentioning that like, here's this technology that makes this possible. Why it's different from the regular multi-key wallet, maybe.
I'm gonna lean in from a very different perspective. That would be the users of the guide. So I'm gonna pretend that I would be trying to, I'm building a wallet and I'm working through the recovery flow of the wallet. And I come to the design guide for recovery information. Or I'm working on the onboarding flow of a wallet and I'm coming to the Bitcoin design guide for best practices in onboarding. And I almost feel like with having all of this content on one page, so specifically, the reader might lose these sort of best practices because they might see it, because this affects the onboarding flow. You have some suggestions there as well. And this also affects the recovery as well. So if not, then in some way make sure that those recovery and onboarding pages are linking to this page, because these are still very much related to those. Because I wouldn't necessarily go into the, like the flexible multi-key wallet. I'll be like, no, I'm just designing a very baseline wallet. Like, I'm not interested in multi-key. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know. That's just me. I'm just throwing in my my 2 cents. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think to Daniel's point, is how it works page we already have. So this design page is basically the application of that technical page.
Apologies.
No worries. And to Mo's point, yeah, of course. I mean, every one of these reference design they have an onboarding kind of part or section on them, and the recovery section. So they all have these types of components, right? The savings wallet has an onboarding part. The daily spending wallet has an onboarding part. So you're right that they, on this page, probably what you would need is where it differs from the other ones, right? Because during the onboarding or wallet creation still is a bit different than the savings wallet. So that's why it's in there. For the recovery, I'm not sure how different it really is. So maybe leave it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of this whole conversation has to be taken with the understanding, like we said at the beginning, that we're not really too deep into this page. So a lot of it can probably be resolved by just reading through it from top to bottom, and figuring out how it all fits together.
Yeah, I agree. I think I will just take time to read properly and not confuse you too much here by throwing things.
No worries. I think actually it wasn't a bad experience to just throw it out there, and without ever anybody having had a look at it. So, and it's still in draft mode, or it's not even in a normal reviewable state yet. But still, I mean, there are a lot of or a couple of valuable points, I think, especially around maybe have kind of the pros and cons at the beginning of a page to see, okay, when would you want to do do these kinds of things instead of at the end, and to kind of, yeah, when somebody comes to read this, that they know should I read further, or should I go somewhere else?
I also think it throws me a little. This naming, I'm at work. Custom. I think for some people get their head around that is a fundamental thing to set up over the very, as in, like, you can't just like, oh, I built a wallet, now I want to add. That's not right. You have to set those up at the very beginning. So I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah, is it just me, or is Daniel cutting out for you guys as well again?
It's the AirPods.
Michael, I had a question for you. You understand the content of this page, unlike the rest of us. So what is your feeling? Do you feel that the page could best be split up in a certain way? What's your feeling, or do you feel it's more to do with structure and wording, or what do you think?
No, I think I would probably take out the second half of the page from wallet recovery onwards, and because that's going to be very similar to the savings wallet, for instance, or to any multi-sig, multi-key wallet. So that could probably be it, either its own page or live somewhere else. And then the kind of the meat of this page is around how you create these key sets, how you manage them, and how you reset these time locks, because everything is based on time locks. So that's kind of what's different from, let's say, the regular savings wallet. So I think that's the main part. And after this discussion, I start liking the idea to have basically two different kind of one very simple use case where you just use the same keys also for the recovery, and one more complicated where you have a more complex setup like this one. So, but I would probably rip out the lower or second half of the page.
Yeah, maybe we're getting to maybe this specifically takes us to the point where we're going to have subpages to the savings wallet, and just like at some point we had all these individual pages, and we turned this into the daily spending wallet. Well, the subpages also happened at some point where we realized we had all this different content, but the current structure, things just don't quite fit together. Maybe this is just that point. Yeah, I'd still love to see some use case based stuff. Like, I just want to have a second recovery key or fallback or emergency key. Like, give it some unique name where it's clear that. I think recovery is already called for your regular backup sometimes, so maybe this should be called like emergency key or something. And the second one, maybe because your bigger topic is inheritance, right? Maybe the second one is the inheritance focused one, which brings in all kinds of, which is basically social recovery in a way, right? Planned social recovery, kind of. maybe that could be the more complex one. That's where it has to be very elaborate, because this might be a wallet that's out there for 15 years, and then someone has to recover it who doesn't touch it in the meantime. So.
Yeah.
Michael, you can lean into a piece of content that's just gone live. So in Christoph's multi-wallet page, there's a very clear use case at the beginning. So maybe you sort of look at that use case and try and lean into how these people are coming together. Maybe you could look at, I don't know, the Bitcoin Design Foundation. How would they set up a multi-wallet? I don't know, think of maybe the foundation is not a good example, but maybe think of a family as well. As Christoph had a family in this sort of scenario in his one, and how a family would use this multi-wallet.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because the inheritance one is so complex and has so many custom setup with inviting people and all of that that could be its own reference design.
Yeah.
While having one extra fallback key could be just a subpage. That's just same technology, right? But just very different uses for it.
Yeah, maybe these topics like onboarding and recovery, maybe they are really can become subpages of the savings wallet as well, because the savings wallet is basically a multi-key, and kind of recovery in these kinds of things will be very similar, no matter which type of multi-key wallet you have. So maybe you're right. Maybe that we can expand that one. All right, I won't hijack more more of the time, but it was good. It was good food for thought. I'll see whether it makes sense to just create a structure underneath the savings wallet to see whether that makes sense, and then we can maybe discuss more.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Michael, go ahead, Christoph.
Yeah. I was just going to say the design looks really good. There's just a ton of stuff there. just fitting it with everything else in and making sure there's a clear point, like that this page is trying to make, where you're like, oh, from the title, and you can describe it in 2 sentences,
Yeah.
and then everything flows from that based on the use case. That was also what maybe we all can take a look at it separately and just think about it a little bit and come together. Then we could also do a workshop or so if you'd like at some point.
Let's do it like this. I'm gonna review this, and until the end of the week, I'm gonna take this thing, or I'll ping you in the guide, or take it out of draft mode, so that kind of I have one more iteration of how I would do it, and then we can really maybe next week or the week after really dig into it more.
Similarly, with the page that Christoph just pushed live, is that it's a complex topic for someone who's not knee deep in this kind of thing. So that use case of putting in these real humans and saying, the dad is setting up the wallet next to his wife, and the wallet is for the kids. And, he wants this wallet to automatically be transferred to his kids, or should anything happen to him. And then, ideally when the daughter's 18 or 16, it would be fully released or something like that. It takes away the abstraction of that technical concept. Like it brings it more human, like.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I already see some components there that should make their way into the UI kit. I'm scouting. That looks really good. Uti just hopped off. I know he sometimes has issues with his connection. I think he's in Nigeria. But the next one was about an issue that he actually started. But so I've been talking with him separately on the side. Ah, there he is. Hey, Uti, we're just about to start talking about the contribute page issue that you started on. Let me just pull that up. He might have connection issues. But,
yeah, he dropped out again.
Yeah. So his basic idea was, he's really eager to get active in the community, and so he came up with this idea that you have this checkbox that you can print it out, and it has like things you can do in the community, in different milestones, like introduce yourself, print out this sheet, write down your name, join the Discord, sync the calendar, and then you go to milestone 2, is where you maybe read the guide, participate in the call, stuff like that, and then you kind of make your way up or down basically, and you just check things off, like you keep it next to your computer or somewhere else. And I thought it's a cool idea. And let me see if I can dig up this Google Doc. And Uti, feel free to chime in here if your bandwidth allows. Let me see if I can find the Google Doc link. Copy link. Yeah, and it's written in a pretty personal way, and I'll share it in the chat as well. So, and we were talking about some of this stuff anyways, as we have the foundation now, and it's the contribute page hasn't been touched in a really long time. It does feel like we can add on to it, and I like this idea of working your way up those milestones. And initially, it can be just getting to know things, scouting around, and then doing your first contribution, maybe regular ones, participating in a hackathon, becoming more essential to a project. Onboarding is beyond contributing. I mean, it starts with contributing starts with onboarding, in a way. You kind of have to figure out what you're going to contribute to in the first place. So yeah, I thought it's yeah. So what does everyone else think of this idea?
I like it because it helps you kind of mentally keep track of things and kind of it gives you like a rope that you can use to climb. So it helps a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Same, I like this. I think most people, when they come into the community, they sort of don't know, it feels we're often sort of sending the same message on repeat to people, like join in on the call, sign up for the calendar. And now with this suggestion from UTB, we can basically just send to this page or link or sublink in this page, and that will be basically the same message that we type on repeat when people come into the community asking how they can contribute. So I think it definitely has a very good use case.
Yeah. And if you look at the contribute page, we have an introduction, then we have a learn how we work, which sounds like read the manual, which talks about open links to the open design page, how to get involved, and you have join the community, say hi, subscribe to the newsletter, read up on project lifecycle, how to get involved with project, which is 4 bullet points, which is not really that helpful. I mean, it's very practical, right? But it doesn't tell you what it's like to be part of a project, how you make a design proposal, or we also have other stuff that we haven't listed, like the design challenges page under resources. So if you just want to do a design challenge, you can do that. Or and then we have the Bitcoin design guide, and then we have a short blurb about the foundation. But there's also, I think we mentioned too that for the people who are several milestones in, who maybe want to or need to get compensated for their work, that they want to that could flow in there as well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So basically, it's just I try to round it up from my experience trying to get into the community. So I kind of believe that the contribute page can be made bigger. Like there are a lot of people that do come into on the Discord, and after like the welcome or introduction, they do like indicate interest of trying to contribute or looking forward to contribute.
Did we may have just lost you.
Yeah. Don't hear anything.
I wrote it for Christoph earlier, and I do look on. I would love to work on it and talk to a few people, maybe like new joiners and so. Also for the topic, I was like, if we do call it contribute, it might feel like you may not be sure that you're ready to contribute, but you may be sure that you're ready to join. So maybe we could lower the like the expectation, or should I say like the barrier of using the talk at the moment. You can be like join or Bitcoin design something.
Yeah, good point. Contribute is already a few steps down from join.
Was that audible?
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said? Your camera, your connection.
I think whether he was audible, and I think partially, but yeah.
Yeah, and No, I mean, that's stuff that I think like a long time ago, we also talked about that a little bit, that it's a pretty big step to start contributing to something. And the thing that's often misunderstood with Bitcoin Core and other places too is that just reviewing things and giving feedback is actually a super good way to contribute, because it's so helpful to get that input. But a lot of people don't see that as like a valid contribution, but it really is. So that's another. Making that point also helps lower the barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be excited to work on that one next, now that the multi-wallet page is wrapped up.
Same. I'd be happy to see that page come together. I'm also happy to contribute in any way I can. How would you like us to contribute, Utibi? What are the next steps? Or
Yeah, removing contribute. Yeah, it's more like join and then
Okay.
contribute later.
Gotcha.
But contribute is, it's like an ingrained term in open source. Like all the open source projects in GitHub, they always have a contribute page. Like for coding, it's pretty much, and maybe that's fine. Like if you're in a project, the contribute page is the contribute page. But maybe for a community, it's not the right term.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one, because on the homepage at the moment, so we have quite a big call to action on the homepage to join the Discord. So is Utibi suggesting basically this contribute button would change its title to also to join? So then you would have the call to action being join Discord, and then the other call to action would also be join here in the navigation on the top left.
Yeah, I mean, the contribute page could change to a join page potentially.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. Sounds like a very good one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, either way, the title is one thing to consider, and the rest of the content is another thing, and we can make a proposal, and then we can decide how it all fits together. And then, if we have that, then the onboarding flow in Discord also allows you to configure some onboarding steps that everyone has to go through when they join. We could also sneak that in there somehow.
Nice. You don't have a plan for now. Christoph can take it up out of your hands because you are full flat mining. All right. Okay. But I will be contributing. So is this living in a document at the moment, or how can we?
So there's an issue here in the guide where I try to summarize the conversation that Uti and I had, and I linked to the document he created. And yeah, we can just use that as a starting point.
Yep, sounds good.
Cool, let's tag team on this one. Yeah, I feel like if we create a downloadable page, that could have its own unique design that could be kind of, I mean, probably black and white to save ink or whatever would probably be best, but create some unique thing where you can just, almost like a game, you work your way up to the top.
That could be super fun. Yeah.
Without making people feel bad if they don't go all the way to the top. Something.
Or fold it in a special way that unfolds some secret if you follow the correct steps in the correct order.
I think it could also it could also include actually downloading a Lightning wallet and reviewing it or something. Just some practical things to do so you get hands-on with some of the tech and get a feel for it yourself. Yeah.
Thanks for kicking that off, Utibi, and for the idea as well, and for really thinking about everything, because I think it's very valuable that it comes from someone who's entered into the community and how you felt when you entered into the community. I think that's something to which is a unique angle. So thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, then we have 8 minutes left. We can just continue this task. Let me see, can I assign? I don't think I can assign Uti here yet. I think, Uti, if you, in this GitHub, if you leave a comment, then I can assign you as a assignee. I can assign Mo and myself. But I think you have to comment first before I can assign you. So if you leave a comment there, you can also add you to the list of assignees. Yeah, cool then. Let's make it happen. Okay, cool. 7 minutes left. What else? Should we plan for another session in 2 weeks, December 18? Good way to wrap up. Have some.
Yeah, I would. And I try to plan a session for a review or a reading session for the page which name is not yet clear.
Yeah, the new page. Yeah, I'll also put it on my list to think about page structure for the recovery page and savings wallet. Yeah, so I'll also try to think about that. Cool. Is there anything else going on in and around the guide?
Not on my side.
On my side as well. I know the last call, and I have it on my to-do, that will be pushed for next year. I will absolutely not try to initiate anything. We said it would be interesting to do some research into just go into the different wallet GitHubs, see what conversations they're having, go into the Discord, see which conversations are being had, and then also go into the newsletter and go into this feedback session of the newsletter and see what questions are being asked as a way to think about future content for the guide.
Yeah, and feel free, I did reach out to Dario from Moon, messaged him, see what they're working on. See, I mean, we can just reach out to people, right? And ask him, like, what are you working on? What's coming up? Anything can help with? I think that feel free to just do that as well.
All right. Cool.
Oh, and someone on Twitter in a thread said they'd love to see Blix redesigned. Oh, that was posted in general too, I think.
So I met Hampus when I was in Prague. Prague? Was that Prague? That conference where we did the Bitcoin core research interviews? Yeah. I met Hampus in Prague, and I just kind of threw out back then 2 months ago, like, would you be open to doing another sprint? And he was absolutely down for it. And then I just came back from the conference and never reached out. So he was up for it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably need find someone to lead that project. Someone, because my hunch is it would be a larger redesign that starts with potentially logo, brand, colors, tone, and then works its way into the UX of things. But they do some cool. I mean, Ambus does some cool stuff with self-custodial Lightning addresses and this separate project. What's it called? Something box, Lightning box, or whatever it is. There's some cool things going on in that application. 2024. Got some things to cook.
Lots of stuff to cook next year. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Then we're good. I'll stop the recording here. We can keep chatting if we'd like. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Oh, Yashrash would like to speak. Should I stop recording first, Yashrash, or would you want to be on record?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
I will stop. Here we go.